Hey, so good afternoon YouTube. So it seems like on my channel that all the videos for this bike, the V85TT, are the ones that are picking up all the views, and some of the comments that I've had on the channel all talk about, you know, what's the bike like to ride two up. So I thought I'd shoot a bit of video today just to talk through that while I'm riding it two up. So I've got my lovely lady sat on the back pillion, and this is probably only the 5th time or so that she's been out on the back of the bike, and absolutely she does love it, and says that the bike is really comfortable for a pillion. And I have to say, from a rider's sort of perspective, I'd kind of match that as well. This is one of the most comfortable bikes that I've ever owned. The riding position is just, it feels really natural. You're not cramped up at all, or you know, your knees aren't overly bent. The saddle is really comfy. You know, you could do a lot of miles in sort of like one stint. So as far as, you know, riding it two up, I've had to sort of jack up the rear shock a little bit, but that's to be expected. You know, riding it with it sort of set for a solo, it made it a little bit pogo-y. I mean, the bike never put a foot wrong, it always tracked fine, no problem, but you know, you just felt that there was the suspension was doinging up and down quite a lot. So I just wound the spring preload up a little bit, just a couple of notches, and that's all it took. Lovely. And it hasn't made it too harsh riding it solo, so I've just left it there. So with the front forks, you've got some adjustment, just again preload sort of on the top of the forks there, you can adjust with a screwdriver, and the same, I've sort of gone up about half a turn on them just to stiffen them up a little bit, and that's sorted the front end out, no problem. So you know, that's as far as sort of handling wise. The bike still feels really planted. It doesn't feel like it's sort of tail heavy or front end light or anything like that. You know, so I'm not going to fling it about, because I've got, you know, a relatively new sort of pillion on the back, but you know, it feels still stuck to the road. So I've got no qualms there at all. As far as power goes, I mean, the bike is, you know, it's not overly powerful for the size of the engine. It's fairly sort of laid back performance, but it's more than, idiot in a Volvo, but it's more than capable, you know, of pulling two up and sitting at motorway speeds. Obviously we're poking through the lanes at the moment, but we will be doing a bit of dual carriageway later on, so I'll sort of video that, so you can, you know, get some kind of idea, or as much of an idea as you can, from being sat behind the screen looking at it. But in the meantime, you know, sort of chucking through the lanes like this, the bike is still soaking up all the bumps. The brakes are more than capable with, you know, for riding pillion, so it'll be fine for, you know, riding, you know, with a load of luggage on board, which I can't wait to do. Actually, I really wanted to get some touring in this summer, even if it's just a couple of sort of weekends away. Strap a tent on the back and disappear off somewhere down to the West Country or Wales or somewhere. We need the weather to start playing ball a bit. Here we are, bank holiday weekend, and we got the usual mix of sort of English springtime weather, where we're going to get pretty much everything other than snow. But never mind. It's supposed to be dry this afternoon, although it's looking a bit threatening, but never mind. So, you know, just building through the lanes like this, the bike is well, this has got to be one of the best handling bikes I've ever owned. And I thought some of the other bikes I had were good, but this thing is just on another level. It just feels planted all the time. It doesn't matter what the weather's doing. you know, where come rain or shine, it just feels like it's stuck to the road. And obviously the tyres help quite a lot there. Michelin Anarchies have got fitted front and rear, and they have been really good, to the extent, you know, when they wear out, I will have no qualms about refitting exactly the same. Oh, so there's a, you know, quintessentially English sort of scene. Ducks playing about on the local lake. So coming up to a bit of main road in a minute, so we'll get some idea of, you know, the speed and performance 2 up. I'm not going to gun it really hard away from the junction, but you know, we'll get up to a decent road speed without any trouble at all. It's a real world performance rather than blistering performance, I think. So obviously I'm videoing it, so I'm going to go a little bit careful, but you know, a few seconds are up to 60, not a problem. And the bike is, well, planted to the on the road. I can't, you know, I can't say anything other than that. It is a lovely bike to ride. The only thing I will say again, in case anyone hasn't picked it up in some of the other videos I've got, when I got the bike, the turbulence behind the screen was, well, there's no other word for it, diabolical. Can't believe that Guzzi put something to the market where the turbulence was that bad behind the screen. And it's really easily fixed. So these little things down here, sat in the scallops of the tank, they just interrupt that airflow that's kind of spilling off the fairing and hitting the front of the tank and then just being projected straight up behind the screen into your face. If you're having trouble with turbulence, and you know, at 70-80 miles an hour, it was almost, you know, give you flipping double vision. It was that bad, especially if there was a side wind, it seemed. Find a mate with a 3D printer. I'll put the link to these things in the video chat. Get someone to print them out and get them fitted. It's an absolute game changer. And I've got no extension on the screen or anything like that. I'm about 5'10", and I don't need it now. With those little things fitted in the scallops, it's absolutely changed the whole way that the air flows over the bike. Yeah, absolutely. Get someone imprinted and fitted, and it'll change your whole experience. So I'm in sort of fourth, which is about the, you know, sort of cruising gear for chucking through a 30 limit. We're just coming to the end. I'll just sort of do a throttle wind on, and you know, that'll get us up to a decent road speed. You see, and it's, you know, pulling with a pillion, and I'm not pushing it, just gently up through the gears. Fantastic. Look at that. Riding it on the torque rather than the horsepower. Okay, so I think, well, we're headed down to a little village in the New Forest called Burley, and once we get the other side of Salisbury, I'll sort of do a bit more filming, and because you know, I filmed quite a lot going through this area. So we'll pick up some of the scenes going across the New Forest and as we go into Burley, and then we'll probably draw the video to a bit of a close, just see how things meander on today. Okay, catch you in a bit. There we go, the old sat nav's taken us the other way, so there's going to be a very short piece of dual carriageway in a minute, but I'll try and, if the traffic permits, we'll try and whiz her up to 70, and you get some idea of what it's like from sitting behind the screen as much as you can while you're watching me enjoying it and experiencing it. So there we go, we'll just do a roll on from sort of 60 and 2 up. Whoop, there we go. So obviously I'm not going to film myself exceeding the speed limit because that'd just be dumb. But there's, you know, plenty of power in reserve for sitting at motorway speeds. You could cruise a lot higher than that, obviously, you know, on a racetrack or an autobahn. So, you know, real world performance, not a problem. You've got plenty of grunt there to whiz past things if you need to. 2 up. Yeah, what else can I say? Perfectly capable. Obviously it's not going to have the same amount of power as a 1250 GS or something like that, because the engine's nowhere near as big, but for real world performance, more than enough. And I have to say, since I fitted those like 3D printed little bits in the, you know, the go in the tank scallops there, cruising at this sort of speed is just well, an absolute flipping pleasure. There's no turbulence at all. With the screen set in its kind of like mid position, I can just about feel that, you know, the wind on the top of me crash helmet, which I quite like actually, because there's a vent up there, and it just about catches the wind, you know, brings a bit of nice cooling air in on a hot summer's day. So all in all, yeah, dead chuffed. And at these kind of speeds, you know, there's no vibration through the handlebars or the pegs or anything like that. Once you do get up to, you know, motorway speeds and more, there is a bit of secondary vibration through the pegs and the bars. It's not massively obtrusive, but you know, after you've been going for sort of an hour or so, yeah, you know, you need a bit of a you know, break. But with the cruise control, you can take it in turns. Which hand is on the handlebars? So you know, rough with the smooth and all that. And the cruise control has been an absolute boom. Commuting to work and everything on the dual carriageway is just brilliant. Dial in the speed and just sit there. Really, really impressed with that. So a bit more dual carriageway work for slightly longer, not that much longer. There we go, sat on the dual carriageway, 70 miles an hour, not a problem. I got loads of power in reserve, even 2 up. So yeah, don't have any qualms about whether it's got the legs to play 2 up. Obviously I'm being quite conservative with the throttle because you know, I'm videoing myself, and I don't want to be incriminating myself. But yeah, 2 up, not a problem. There we go. go. There's views out across. And as you can see, although it's called the New Forest, there's an awful lot of it that's not forest. And there's some of the famous New Forest ponies, which just roam kind of wild, so keep your eyes open. So the town we're going to, Burley, here we are, is apparently famous for witchcraft and that kind of malarkey. So you know, just be careful who you're talking to, and don't upset any of the locals. Otherwise, you might find yourself cursed. Well, let's park it 140 yards. Aha! Ice cream van. Got to be done, ain't it?